kind of when we're getting ready, like, maybe the first thing you do is change. Some guys still don't do this, but some guys do. Like, these are my, what we call riding pads. I consider it bad luck if you wash them, so you see they're a little dirty. But they're only get used for bull riding, so it's not that big a deal. You know, I've had this shirt for about a year now. I bought it last year at CCA Finals and I've rode in it all year, so I smell really good after I take this stuff off. Here's our kind of my vest here. So this is our protective vest. It kind of protects us if we ever get hit by anything. Everything kind of looks like. So our vest just kind of goes on, just like an everyday vest. And you zip it up, do it up, and that just, if you ever get hit here, it's made out of like bulletproof material. I can find the kind of opening in here, but it's just made out of like little block squares like that. And so you get hit in one spot and it extends it over the whole place, so just that one spot doesn't get, you know, the most damage or whatever. This is what we call our bow rope. So as you can see, it's kind of made out of like twine material. I ride with my right hand, so when I put this over top of the bull, I drop my bells down on the left hand side, and then this goes through the loop down here. And then when you're getting ready, you know, you see guys in the chute and they warm up, their rope and stuff like that, you got a guy who pulls it tight for you. So you just kind of run your hand in, and you know, there's a lot of different ways how to take, this is what we call taking a wrap. You know, you kind of take it over across and you bring it around behind your hand here, and then you bring it down here, and you get a good hold, make sure your pinky's good, and then you kind of slide up on it, I guess.
So for people that don't know about the bells, can you explain that?
What the bells do, a lot of people think they're just for like entertainment and noise, but actually they serve a pretty important purpose. When we come off of a bull, you know, you kind of come off, you throw your head and you jump off. What your bells do is they take the rope right off your bull. So that's what their purpose is for. You know, they take it off, they make the rodeo a lot faster, kind of thing, because you're just running out, grabbing your own rope, jumping down the chutes, and watching the next guy go.
So how did you decide which hand you would hold the rope with?
Actually, we did like a balance kind of thing, and I put my hands on my laps and I sat on the fence. And I had a guy behind me and a guy at the front, and he pushed me forward, and I grabbed down with my right hand. So that's kind of how I got told how to ride. I've switched it up, though I have rode with my left before, so...
How'd that go?
It was pretty fun, actually. Yeah, I was 76 points, I think, with my left hand, so it was a good rodeo that time.
So, can you talk about the point system for people that don't maybe know rodeo?
Yeah, sure. What you got is you got two judges. You know, one judge marks the bull from 1 to 25, and the rider from 1 to 25. The other judge does the exact same thing. They add those scores together, they combine together. Each judge has his own different mind, you know, like he marks them 18, say, the other judge will mark them 19, you know. It's on their perspective pretty much. They add those together and you get your points out of 100. So at the finals there's actually 4 judges though, so like 2 for the bull and 2 for the rider. So it's a lot equal that way. Our shafts, you can get them custom made, you can do whatever you want. I got mine custom made with my initials on the back of them. All this, I don't think you'll ever find shafts anywhere in the world that look quite like this. So pretty much you just throw them on, you know, you do them up underneath your leg and stuff like that, and they're not for, you know, they're not for protection or nothing like that, they're just all show, you know. A lot of people, you know, we do this to put on a really good show, but we do it because we love it, kind of thing. I guess if you guys, you know, there's, what we have is what we call rosin, and this is what makes your rope pretty sticky. And it's kind of made like out of honey and tree sap, kind of like that, and it's just like a big rock like that. You break little pieces off, like this piece, and you just work that one into your rope, and that's how you get this. That's how you get that kind of look to it. So what that does is just make it sticky. This is how it usually comes, like when you buy a rope, and that's when you use it for quite a while. So we have special spurs actually that they're not just like any old spur. These spurs are only allowed to turn a quarter, like a quarter turn.
How come?
So that's like, because when you're getting on a bull or whatever, you know, if my leg's the side of the bull or whatever, you want to be able to get a hold. You know, this doesn't hurt them or nothing like that. It's just to help out, you know, getting a hold with your feet so that you can stay on longer. So, you know, if they moved all the time, then your feet would constantly be sliding up and down and up and down, and, you know, it'd be a lot tougher. So this is kind of like one of our advantages, I guess, that we have over the bull. We tie our boots on with this leather strap here. It just comes up underneath, and I tuck it. I put it up here, and then it goes behind my spur, and I wrap it around my boot like so, and then tie it. So it's kind of like a half knot. So that's just so our boots don't fall off. Because when we're got those kind of spurs and you're trying to get a hold, you know, if your boot falls off, you're bucked off. So that's the kind of deal that we go through when we're getting ready every day. Don't be scared to try. To be honest with you, like it's not going to hurt you your first time to get on. It's quite an adrenaline rush. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know, it's not for everyone, but if you get hooked like I did, you could maybe end up in the CCA finals one year.
So what does it feel like to get bucked off?
Disappointing, to be honest. When you get bucked off, you know, you kind of feel like you let yourself down a little bit, but just leave it behind you because there's always another bull. You know, there's never going to run out of a shortage of rodeos or a shortage of bulls in the world. I guarantee that. So, you know, as long as there's bulls and rodeos, I'm still going to get on. This is kind of where all the contestants store their horses for the week. Kind of where everything, all the behind-the-scenes work happens, where they get their horses ready, they do all the maintaining and grooming and stuff like that. Just kind of a rough idea of what it's like to be back here, I guess. This is usually where they warm up right here. They'll do laps with their horses, get them, you know, warmed up so they're not going in cold. You know, they're going in kind of with the blood flow going through their veins and stuff like that.
A little bit of a traffic jam.
A little bit, yeah. I believe this is a 6-horse hitch actually going into the main arena for their demonstration. Well, yesterday afternoon, I guess, we did the bull riding in the high school rodeo. High school rodeo events for the high school division is grades 9 to 12, and that's kids at the high school level. They have to be in high school, good grades to rodeo. So we kind of put on a little deal here. What we did was the top 10 from each event that competed in the afternoon got to compete in the short go. So the short go performance was kind of the best of the best is what we were trying to showcase to everyone here. And I ended up making it back in the bull ride, and I was 73 points last night, got 3rd place, so I was happy with that.
So what happens now?
That's kind of it for high school rodeo. Now I'm in the CCA rodeo, I guess, so that's the CCA finals. I'm competing in the open bull riding, so that's kind of the senior event, competing against the big boys. Horses that are behind the scenes, kind of action down there. This is kind of like the bull riders, the rough document guys are all over there kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know, there's still all the stock in here, kind of where everything gets set up.
So when you say set up, what happens then?
They kind of sort bulls and, you know, even timed event cattle and stuff like that. Like, you know, the tie-down roping calves and steer wrestling and team roping and stuff like that. They kind of sort them off, get them in their own different pens so that they can run this rodeo as fast as they can. Bulls got to be separated, so say if you know you have your two chutes or whatever, you got to have your bulls that are coming onto this side, they got to be loaded over here. Bulls that are going to the far side, they got to be on that side of the division of the fence over there. That's kind of what happens back here, I guess. This year, I just snuck in an 11 spot. They took 11 this year instead of the regular top 10. So I barely squeaked in, just made 11 spots. But like I said, I'd take barely over never any day.
And so you're 16 years old, and you're the youngest competitor?
Youngest competitor in the bull riding, yeah. There is a, you know, the junior event that has the 15 and unders, but I'll be the youngest in the bull riding. Yeah. You know, this is my first finals being here, so it's exciting. I mean.
So have you met other riders?
Oh yeah, we travel with these guys up and down the road all year round, so we all know each other really good, and we're just kind of like one big group of brothers, I think. Back there, then when it's showtime, I guess, for us, we'll come out probably like an event or two ahead of our ahead of when we're supposed to be going out here. So we'll come out here through the middle. And it's kind of overlooks the whole arena. It's quite a rush actually when you look out here and you see all the fans and crowd just watching you, you know, come out. It's really exciting.